Hi Math 7, today we are starting on lesson 6.5b, which is increasing and decreasing by percentages. So yesterday we discovered how to find the change in percentages. Today we're going to be answering questions like, how do you increase 7 by 5%? Now the important thing to remember about doing this is that any number is 100% of itself. So in this problem where it says increase 7 by 5%, we have to know that 7 represents 100% of itself. Just like any other number, like 25 is 100% of itself, even 30,000 is 100% of itself. 100% just means that it's all of it as a whole. So going back to the original problem, if we're told to increase 7 by 5%, an increase means that we're adding. So let's ask ourselves, at the end, how many percent will we have? And this is a key question that you'll be asking yourself throughout the homework. So go ahead and make sure you're writing that down so you can go back and look at it if you need to. Okay, so if we know that 7 is 100% of itself and we're increasing it or adding 5%, at the end we will have 105%. So now we can go back and ask ourselves an English question that we can turn into a math question. So we're going to write, well, what is 105% of 7? And this question we can now turn into a math problem. So instead of writing what, you may have to go back and look at lesson 6.4, which has the translation code, but we replace what with X, or any other letter that makes you happy. Is becomes equals. So we need to remember that when we're converting percentages into decimals, we take the decimal and we move it twice to the left. So we should have 1.05, because remember that all percentages must be converted into normal decimals. Of becomes times, and 7 stays the same. So you'll get to use your calculators now. And in this homework, we're going to round to the 100th place, which means 2 decimals after the number. So if we do 1.05 times 7, we'll get x is equal to 7.35. We have now just increased 7 by 5%, and that's our answer. It works the same way with decreasing, except that when we decrease a number, we are now subtracting. So in this problem, we're again going to identify, well, the original number, which is 18, is 100% of itself, and we are decreasing or subtracting by this amount. So again, we're asking ourselves the question, what percent will we have at the end of the problem? And because it's a decrease, we're going to go ahead and write that as well. We're going to have 100% minus 7.2%, which leaves us with 92.8%. Now we have to write our English problem so that we can translate it into math. So we now write out, what is 92.8% of 18? Again, we're going to replace what with X. We remember that that stands for what number, even though I didn't write what number there. Is becomes equals. In this case, the decimal is already here for us, and so we just take this decimal and we move it 2 times to the left, and we'll get 0.928. Of becomes times, and we rewrite 18. From there, we will use our handy-dandy calculator, and we will get x is equal to 16.704. Because we're only rounding to 2 decimal places, we can rewrite it like x is equal to 16.70, because 4 is less than 5, so we round down. If you choose to leave all the decimals, I won't be mad. I'll accept either answer, either 16.704 or 16.70. Okay, let's do one more example. I'm going to continue to put gross decimal numbers in your homework, so this is just to help you get used to them. In this problem, we're asked to increase 0.95 by 250.78%. So we know that we're increasing, which means that we're going to be adding. We're going to identify our original 100%. This is a very small 100%, but that's okay. And we're going to tell ourselves, because we're increasing it, we're going to just add 250.78%. Now we're going to, in the end, have 350.78% of our original number. So let's go ahead and write that problem out so we can translate it. What is 350.78% of 0.95? And we'll just go ahead and do our conversion. What becomes x becomes equal. We take this decimal, move it 2 times to the left to convert it into a decimal number, and we get 3.5078 of becomes times, and we put in 0.95. In the end, you will get x is equal to 3.33241. And again, I did say we're only using decimals to the 100th place, so you could round that to 3.33, and that could be your final answer.